So thank you everyone for being here with us today. Welcome to our fall virtual lunch and learn. How are the community EV chargers working out? So it's been approximately a year since we completed the install of the EV charging stations in 5 Clayton County towns, thanks to funds received by the Upper Mississippi Gaming Corporation. And during this lunch and learn today, Jolene Jansen, the Energy District Program Director, will be giving an update on this project, and we'll also be opening up for discussion, comments, and questions. And so if at any time you have questions, please feel free to type them out and maybe jot down your notes. But we'll keep you guys muted until Jolene gets done with her update. And then we'll open it all up, and we'd love to hear what you guys have to say. So what's the Energy District mission? The Clayton County Energy District works to strengthen the community by leading, implementing, and accelerating the inclusive and local transition to clean energy use. Broken down, we work to positively affect the local economy by retaining energy dollars in Clayton County. We promote wise energy use and slow climate change, and we always include everybody. Our board is comprised of Dr. Jim Osterhaus of Guttenberg as chair, Randy Length of St. Olaf as vice chair, Elaine Funke of Edgewood as treasurer, Dr. Ken Zeichel of Elkader as secretary, along with Ron Kaiser of Garnavillo, Tom Klingman of Volga, and Kathy Cater of Monona. So, and we also want to recognize Harry Blowbaum as a past chair member who is also present today. So without further ado, here is Jolene.
Thanks, Ashley. Yeah, I appreciate that introduction, and welcome everyone. I know we got people kind of trailing in here. We are recording this this session, and we will go up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel sometime later today or next week. So again, thank you. Yeah, I had the opportunity about 2 weeks ago to speak to the County Conservation Directors of Iowa's Association and talking to them about the idea of what we did here in Clayton County from the Energy District to kind of transform our EV charging desert. And so I thought I would just kind of show these slides again today, which does include just how we went from A to Z on a project, but also where we are now. And we're hoping at the end that we can maybe take on some questions and some comments about the charging stations here in Clayton County. So I'll get started here. So this is how the presentation is gonna go, just a little bit of an outline. I'm gonna talk to you just a little bit about the Clean Energy District movement. We're going to talk about our transformed charging desert here in Clayton County. We're going to talk about the tourism sector in Clayton County. We're going to talk about our proposal, the timeline, some specs, and our partners. How much did it actually cost as far as total project budget, and what were the local taxpayers on the hook for? We're going to connect it to the clean energy transition, the clean energy transition to tourism, some of our hassle factors, and then a little bit about how it's going now. First, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Clean Energy District movement. And clean energy districts are nonprofit entities defined by county lines, created to strengthen our communities by leading, implementing, and accelerating the inclusive and local transition to clean energy use. The clean energy districts are organized into a network called the Clean Energy Districts of Iowa. Every star and shape on within the county lines there represents an energy district either in existence or in the making, including an energy district in Vernon County, Wisconsin. So while we go by the Clean Energy Districts of Iowa, we are trying to create energy districts in other states. We work on what's called a universal local approach, and I'm not going to go off into Clean Energy District 101 right now, but the idea is that each of these clean energy districts, every county, all 3,000 US counties could hold an energy district. It's a universal model. It would work anywhere, but it is local. And so the energy district And Dubuque County or Howard County operates and has different programming than we do here in Clayton County. So we believe that energy districts are at the intersection of clean energy prosperity and climate stewardship, and we say, or where green meets green. And I think you'll see that in this project as well. So this is like already Ashley kind of introduced our board. That is a picture of some of our board members. In our mission is our common mission. Again, I kind of read that at the beginning, that we are implementing and accelerating an inclusive locally owned transition to clean energy use. We have those drivers that Ashley already mentioned, excuse me, to positively affect the local economy by reducing energy costs for everyone, to slow climate change by promoting wise energy use, to ensure an equitable clean energy transition. Our motto is to include everyone, to electrify everything, and then to decarbonize electricity. So why, when we were kind of dreaming up projects and where we were going to go, and this was back in 2019, we realized that EVs are on the road and that there are many more to come. We used a couple of statistics to sort of guide our what we knew in our heads and to just sort of put some data together. But according to Auto News, electric vehicles will account for 1/3 of global auto sales. And that is for sure true. The United States is behind on global EV auto sales. I happened to be in Australia a few years ago, and easily 1/3 of the vehicles, and this is just anecdotal for sure, but easily 1/3, if not more, of the vehicles that I saw on the road at that time were electric vehicles. By 2030, there will be more EV sales than traditional internal combustion engine vehicle sales. When we just started to dream this project, GM announced the fact that they had increased their investment in electric and autonomous technology vehicles or technology by $7 billion, and that they would have 30 EV makes on the market by 2030. And you probably heard the hot news this last month that by 2035, California will require 100% of new sales of cars, trucks, and SUVs to be powered by electricity or hydrogen. It permits 1/5 of those new vehicle sales to be hybrids. And there are 17 other states that have not necessarily trigger policies in place, but certainly share the policy that California puts out. So if the EPA approves, and it appears the Biden administration will be approving California's new policy, then there are 17 other states, including Minnesota and several on the East Coast and the state of Washington, that will also put a similar policy in place. So knowing that, oh shoot, my slides are not advancing. There we go. We also needed to gather a little more data, and we looked at the map and we realized that in early 2020, we here in the heart of the driftless region, we're in a EV charging desert. The circle represents the driftless region. You see Prairie du Chien, you know where Clayton County is. There just weren't there were not very many opportunities for electric vehicles to charge. And the whole deal is if you own an electric vehicle, you are not going to travel very far out of range if you don't have an opportunity to charge it. It's the same thing. Nobody's going to drive a car that's propelled by gasoline, not knowing where they're going to be able to put more gas in. You need to be able to return home. At that time when we were dreaming up the project, there in Clayton County, which happens to be the 4th largest county in Iowa in land area, had one place to plug in, a public place to plug in an electric vehicle. And there it is in the picture on the right, and that's at Brown's Sales and Leasing in Elkader. And within county lines, there was that and possibly one other one, but not a well-known location. And this was the only one that at the time that that was like, yeah, hey, if you're out at Brown's in areas of operation, you want to plug in between their 2 service bays, you can charge your electric vehicle on a level 2 charger. So after, and we're going to tell you how the project actually unfolded, but now this is today, this is the charging maps. All of the green pins on that map represent the chargers that we put on, plus a few more that have come on board since then. So we went from the charging desert to the charging oasis. So it has been mission accomplished. We set out to transform this EV charging desert, and we think we have. So here's some of the details. In order to actually get the funding that we needed for this project, we knew that we were going to have to approach Upper Mississippi Gaming Corporation for those funds. And their mission is also to improve the communities of Clayton County. So how do we do that? We can't just say, well, hey, let's put electric vehicle chargers out there. We had to present a case to them. And so Clayton County is a very scenic, very a tourism-centered county. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Each of the pictures on this slide represent where there is now a level 2 charger for visitors to plug into. And so just in living here, and we knew that Clayton County was that the tourism economy was important to Clayton County, just with it to the eyes alone. But we also had a few data points that we used, got them from a couple of locals, officials that keep track of how much traffic there is in Clayton County. This map, first of all, we heard from Strawberry Point that at Highway 3 and 13, that intersection, they see 2,800 cars a day. And at Highway 13 and High Street in Elkader, there are 4,600 cars a day there. In 2019, this company called Arrivalist assessed how many new arrivals into each county were counted them. And in Clayton County, we saw 206,000 arrivals in 2019. That compared to our county, the county just to the north in Alameda was 141,000, Fayette to our west, 116,000, and Winnebago County, 259,000. So those 4 more rural counties, Clayton County was right there. We obviously have people that are arriving into Clayton County for lots of reasons. And if they're driving an electric vehicle, there was no place for them to charge. So if they were going to go on a vacation, for example, we couldn't be one of those destinations. Obviously, Clayton County is a very scenic area in the heart of the Driftless region. In fact, we're rated second most scenic, next to Alameda County, just to our north. So this is kind of the proposal timeline. We understood that by building EV charging infrastructure in Clayton County as Clayton County's tourist destinations, the towns with new level 2 chargers will appear on the charging network maps. And as a result, EV drivers will be attracted to the area. Conversely, without those chargers, EV drivers are going to be less inclined to visit. So while waiting to charge their vehicle at 65 miles of range per hour, these visitors will explore our communities, likely spend time shopping, dining, and engaging in other entertainment and recreational opportunities. So that's the proposal. Then our timeline was to do the research that I just sort of showed you, to begin the hunt for funding. We presented this opportunity to 7 towns of population greater than 1,000, and 5 of the 7 towns in Clayton County applied for an EV charging station grant if funded. In the fall of 2020, we were granted $50,000 from the Upper Mississippi Gaming Corps. In the winter of 2020, the chargers were shipped here. In spring and summer, we delivered those stations and they were installed and began operation. These were some of the considerations that we considered. We landed, and this is just to show you that we looked at several vendors, the Blink network, ChargePoint, and Green Lots. I'm not going to go into details on this slide unless someone has questions at the end, so we'll go back to it. But we landed on Blink because it was basically more bang for the buck. We could get more powerful stations at a more reasonable cost. And so we went from a proposal that originally was at 4, we were able to include 5 towns. So these are our community partners. In 2020, we approached the city councils of McGregor, Marquette, Elkader, Guttenberg, and Strawberry Point, and a few others. These are the ones that sort of bit on the opportunity. Their responsibilities were to provide the location for the level 2 chargers, to install the stations, connect them to power, and initialize the Blink chargers. They then needed to either provide Wi-Fi access or a cellular network access for the certain network services, and to accept a transfer of ownership for Blink's terms and conditions, and establish a host account with Blink that would transfer the funds as people were to charge. So how much did it cost to create this level 2 charging oasis? The total project cost was $60,000. That includes the equipment, the actual charging stations, the network services, the project administration and to administer the project, and then the city's share. The Upper Mississippi Gaming grant amount was $50,000, and that bought the 5 dual port level 2 with up to 19.2 kilowatts of charging output. And that's kind of the math behind that. And then the city partners it ranged in expense, out-of-pocket expense to install these chargers from nothing to $4,200. And the cumulative cost for the city partners together was $12,900. So about, and then I take that back, and Marquette and Elkader each received $1,500 Alliant rebates. So cumulative cost came to about $9,900, just about $10,000 in the city partner costs combined, not per, it was, anywhere from 0 to 4,200 in each of the cities, but combined, the cities put out, the taxpayers then came up with about $10,000 in costs. All right, so let me see here, sorry, my slides are, let me see again. There we go. Okay, so so now again, this is the idea that we went to each of these 5 tourist destination towns, the city of Strawberry Point. They picked out their location. You can see where the charger is there. It's located in their municipal city lot. It's right behind or right below the Strawberry, actually, the famous Strawberry. Their installation cost there in Strawberry Point was about $620. In Elkader, you see Mayor Pope there. The charging station in downtown Elkader is located across the river from the across the street from the Turkey River, in the water attraction there. Founders Park. It shares the parking lot, or is in front of the Freedom Bank, but also right across from the grocery store and the south end of Main Street, so an easy walk uptown. Their estimated installation cost was around $2,200, and then they did receive, on top of that, an Alliant Energy rebate. So about $700 out of pocket for the was the tax bill to city residents. In Guttenberg, they moved locations. It was going to be out on Highway 52, but then they decided to move it closer to River Park Drive. It's actually behind their municipal building. Their estimated cost, I gotta move this out of the way, it was about $2,200 to install their charging station in a municipal parking lot there. Again, just a block off of their downtown district. Very well located, and an Iowa Mississippi River town. This is in McGregor. Their estimated cost was said at the beginning of the slide around $4,200. So I don't know. I have to check my numbers, but anywhere between $4,200 and $3,800. But they're also a Mississippi River town. It's also located in a municipal parking lot, and very close to, strategically located to downtown McGregor. this is the story that I want to come back to in the end, because it isn't all success here. We're going to be transparent about some of the problems that we've had with the chargers, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Okay, and this is Marquette. Marquette was the first town to say yes. They were the first town to install, and they have really reaped the benefits as far as actual use. I think the city clerk, Bonnie Baseman from Marquette, is actually on this meeting, so maybe we'll hear a little bit from her. But they had out-of-pocket costs, they think around $4,050, and then less a $1,500 rebate. Their charger is in their city park. I believe it's on Edgar Street. Maybe it's called Edgar Park. I'm not sure, but it also is in view of the Mississippi River, right underneath the McGregor Marquette, or excuse me, the Iowa Wisconsin bridge. It is a prime location and a great location for EV drivers that are actually coming across state lines as well. All right. So how long and how much does it cost to how long does it take to charge on one of our Blink IQ 200 level 2 chargers, and how much? And so here's a little bit of the math. So you're seeing in the picture there a Chevy Bolt with a battery size of about 65 kilowatts. These chargers deliver about 65 miles of charge an hour, or 18 kilowatts per hour. So compared to a typical charger in someone's garage, I have a charger in my garage, and it delivers about 6.5 kilowatts per hour. So these are roughly 3 times faster, and it would take about 3.6 hours to charge the Chevy Bolt. This is an interesting point as far as the cost. The Blink network has a recommended retail kilowatt hour price. They recommend it that you start out at 49 cents. I know why they're doing that. They recommend it because they're in the business of selling chargers, and they are selling chargers to people who think or believe or want to, I should say, make a profit on reselling the power to these EV drivers. So their recommended rate is 49 cents a kilowatt hour. So if we were going to go from 0 to full battery on a Chevy Bolt, that would come to about $31.85 to get about 263 miles of range. Should have done the math before this, but at $3.5 dollars per gallon on a internal combustion car, that's probably right in there, maybe a little high actually. And so there's maybe some thought into when these chargers get into high use, that there may be some opportunity to lower that, because the real saving, or the real, I should say, potential for profit on EV chargers at level 2 EV chargers is really not so much in the resale of the power, and more so about getting people, like we said, the whole point of this is let's provide an opportunity for electric vehicle drivers to plug in, and then they're going to shop around town. So I just went on a trip out to Cheyenne, actually Saratoga, near Cheyenne, Wyoming, to celebrate our wedding anniversary. And we charged all the way out and all the way back with our Chevy Bolt. And we did not pay 49 cents per kilowatt hour. I think it would have been a very expensive trip if so. That's maybe another story. I'm just saying that most of the charging rates were somewhere around 10 cents a kilowatt hour. So at that rate, a little high. But I will say this, everywhere we stayed, if we didn't charge on a fast charger and charged on those level 2 chargers, well, we were out looking, and even on the fast chargers, you know, we were doing exactly what we hope people will do in Clayton County, and walking through the town and spending money and enjoying and learning more about these communities. Okay. So, oh, sorry. So we did have a couple of unexpected hassles. First, in December of 2020, we had a very early icy winter, and so getting the actual semi down Clayton County gravel roads was a bit of a challenge. We were obviously successful in getting around that challenge. We have had some public pushback. This is a picture of the charging station in Elkader. And you see parked in front of it a grain wagon. It happened to be during the city event called Sweet Corn Days. It wasn't lost on some people that, for whatever reason, wherever the grain wagon could have been parked, they just decided to put it in front of the electric vehicle charger there. There have been some comments on Facebook. Not a necessary expense for the city, not enough bang for the buck. Why would we want to do this? But it hasn't been a predominant battle cry in any way. And I think just, part of early adoption and things that will eventually, as chargers become the norm, we're going to see less of that. Working with Blink has been an unexpected hassle. It didn't go perfectly rosy. All of the chargers are in operation now, with the exception of the one in McGregor. The one in McGregor is not in operation. And I'm having a little bit of, honestly, the city of McGregor and myself have been having some issues in getting them to honor the fact that this charging station is not working. It's not working because of cellular data issues. These are things that we did not anticipate when we decided to go with Blink. Didn't understand that their chargers were going to have some issues with networking with the local with our cell towers. I believe we are getting to a solution in McGregor, but it is taking too long. Bonnie's on the call. She can attest to that. The city of Guttenberg uses what's called a Wi-Fi extender from their municipal building. So they're on a Wi-Fi network. I used a charger not too long ago, and I did need to use the app as opposed to the touch screen. So I think Blink is in the middle of updating that. So the touch screens are not working quite right. But I actually went on to PlugShare and looked at the remarks by each of the people that have checked into the charging station, and there were no negative remarks. Everybody has had pretty successful charges. And then we went back to our city hosts and asked them a little bit about how's it going. And we first asked if they could log into the back end of their dashboard and see how many charging sessions there have been since we installed them last summer, from May till about Labor Day. And you'll see on the bar on the far right, the total charges is in Clayton County on these charges, and this was as of mid-August. There were 17, or maybe even early August, 76 total charges. You can see Marquette in that prime location there near the Iowa-Wisconsin bridge has had the most charging sessions. And McGregor, with a charging station that's been down all summer, has had the least number of charges. We asked, what has gone well with the EV charging stations in your towns. And I think it was Marquette who acknowledged that there were 2 barrels of oil saved so far by just offering this opportunity to EV drivers. Others have said that it was nice to have this amenity available to EV drivers. Someone said it was working well, and also it gives EV users another option. And then of course McGregor has said that nothing has gone well so far, and it hasn't. So that's been a problem there. Let's see. Oh, sorry. This is not working as well today. So what's not going well? And again, the internet connection has been a problem. There was a question in Guttenberg about Tesla car question, whether or not Tesla drivers can actually use it. The answer is yes, they are universal for EV drivers. So, and the city leaders there know that now. Otherwise, not a lot of problems other than, of course, in McGregor, where they are saying, yeah, the system's not reliable and the company has not been responsive. So make a note. I would have loved to not be telling that story today, but as of today, that's still the story. There we go. So this is just a rating your experience so far, 0 being it's been horrible to 10 being it's been really good. And you can see how we landed there. Oh my gosh, sorry you guys. And so, and this is the last slide. Because this has been consistent with our mission to make communities stronger, the Clayton County Energy District dreamed this project into existence. We believe our communities are a bit stronger by having EV charging options. We are implementers of the inclusive and locally owned transition to clean energy. We hope that UMGC and our city partners would see this project as an opportunity to promote the common good, and they did. So I have one last slide that I want to show, and then we'll kind of stop sharing and talk about. I'm not sure how to do this. It's been such a thing, but I want to just bill a couple of upcoming events. There's a Get Charged Up event set for regional Northeast Iowa decision makers. And that's Thursday, October 13th at NICC. I was going to just show you that event. I think I've got it right here. Maybe I don't. I will, if you go to our website, yeah, here it is. We have, this is a link to the registration event for the EV Let's Get Charged Up event. And that's being organized by Upper Explorerland. And it would be a great opportunity to learn more about the charging infrastructure here in the region. A great opportunity to learn about fleet transformations and transforming your fleet. So that opportunity again is on October 16th, and you can register via our website. I was also going to say that we have an upcoming event. I take that back. We're trying to put a roster together of local EV drivers. So we have a form and a link on our website again for this, but if you happen to drive an electric vehicle, if you could click on the link on our website and fill out this form, we would love it. We're also going to put together on the end of October, we have a panel session planned for local EV drivers. And that is on Thursday, October 27th at 5:30. It's at the Guttenberg Brewery. So we'll have a panel discussion and walk up to the EV charger maybe in Guttenberg, and it'll be at the brewery. So come and enjoy a nice evening there, kind of an after 5 event. And finally, later in November, mid-November, we're offering a session called What's Up with Heat Pumps. And there's much more to build on that, but that is going to be a learning session regarding heat pumps and how the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA, might tie into you or locals using heat pumps to relieve some energy burden. Finally, I wanted to put one plug in for our energy coaching sessions for your businesses and organizations. We were granted from the Upper Mississippi Gaming Corps some dollars to put high value, high quality coaching sessions, coaches out into our local businesses and local organizations. We've already done about 13 of them. We have 12 more free sessions. These are valued anywhere between $800 and $1,200. I think we just had 2 signups today. So if you know someone that would like to have their business energy kind of use looked at, analyzed, and connected to some of the rebates and the grants available and the tax incentives. Now is the time. We do have a few more to give away, but we'll be winding that up by the end of November.